Hey guys, welcome back to engVid with me, Benjamin. Today's lesson is a conversational English one in which you're going to learn lots of words for talking about things that maybe your friend or family member has just bought. It fits in quite closely with a lesson I made on giving and receiving compliments, because that is essentially what we're doing here. Someone has bought something and we are making a comment on it, and we're more likely to say that it's great than it's rubbish. Because if we say it's rubbish, then unless they're a really good friend, then might not go down very well. And in this lesson, as I said, it's about expanding your vocab. So I know some English people don't have amazing vocabs, but what we're trying to do is give you a fantastic vocab so that if you do something like the IELTS speaking test, that you get awarded a top mark for vocab. And also it will make general life a bit more interesting rather than just saying, new coat, nice. Yeah, we've got all these words to talk about the new coat. I've divided it into comments on the price about the product, price of the product, the quality, how well it has been made, and the general sort of style and whether it's fashionable and those kind of considerations. Here's my new red hoodie. One of the joys about doing a whole load of filming at the moment is that I get to go shopping here, a new place, new types of shops, and I'm looking at the price. There's some fantastic vintage clothing stores here in Toronto, and also a really good big shop that takes recycled clothing and sells them at good prices. So let's talk about price. So this is all if the price is low and we're happy with the price being low. You could say that it's really good value for money. Oh, that's good value for money. It means for the money you pay, you get a lot from it. Yeah, great value for money. Or you can just say, oh, that's good value. That's great value. So good is a bit, great is more. That's great value. A bargain. A bargain is if the normal price for, I don't know, 5 bananas is £1 and you get the bananas for 30p. It's like, wow, bargain. Like, it's a surprise. It's unusual. Yeah, quite rare to get such a good deal. Or we could say, what a deal. Yeah, what a deal. What a good price you got for that new jumper. I've put a quote in here from a British film made in the 1990s by Guy Ritchie. Do you know which film it is? This is the quote from one of the characters in the film. It's a deal. It's a steal. I won't read the rest of that quote, but I have censored it somewhat. That's right, lock, stock and 2 smoking barrels. Well done. Okay, moving on to the quality of the product. Now, sometimes if you get a really good price, its quality can be poor. So there are some really big suppliers that focus on this at the expense of quality. So what we're looking for is both. I've got some adjectives here that describe good quality. So durable. Yep. Dur kind of means like hard. It's going to last. There's a battery company called Duracell. Yeah, built to last. Durable. So the suffix able means can. It can last. Reliable. Reliable. if you can rely on something, then it works again and again and again. So you probably wouldn't use this to describe a piece of clothing, but you might use it to describe a sat-nav, any piece of IT, or a car you could describe as being reliable, if it is reliable. Okay, reliable. Strong. You know what strong is? Well made. Yeah, it's really well made. What could be well made? Well, maybe a tailored suit has been well made. Maybe a piece of furniture, if it's a sort of wooden piece of wooden table or something, has been well made. Built to last. Again, I wouldn't use that to describe clothing, but you could say that a caravan has been built to last, or what else might be built to last? Maybe a canoe could be built to last. It's a really strong model, and the workmanship, how it's made ensures that it lasts. Okay, now we are going on to an actual describing phrase. Before we do, let me explain this word craftsmanship. So we've got a noun and a suffix. Suffix is a bit on the end of a word, like if it's ly or ment. Here we've got ship. Now, ship at the end is where we have a noun, but it turns into a state or a condition. So a craftsman is someone who makes things. So craftsmanship is kind of how it's been made, whether it's been made well or not. The whole phrase, a beautiful piece of craftsmanship. My wife has this incredible piece of jewelry that she got made in Dubai. It's a gold ring, and it's this snake that kind of curls round her finger. I could describe that as a beautiful piece of craftsmanship. That's not going to break anytime soon. Okay, still thinking about this ring. It's made out of gold, and it isn't too thin. It's not brittle. Yeah, it's strong. It's not going to break anytime soon. Snaky. Okay. Now we have the actual words to describe, whether it looks nice, whether it's appealing, whether it's got that, special it factor, style. So is it fashionable? Fashionable. Are the colours and the shape fitting in with the trends of that particular season and year? Yeah, we talk about the world of fashion having seasons, the spring, summer, autumn and winter collections. Yep. Shops change the type of clothes they're selling according to the season. I have to get used to a different season here in North America. It's fall rather than autumn, but that's beside the point. Upmarket. So upmarket, up here, the top of the market. It's very, very fancy. Wow, very sort of luxurious. Upmarket, upmarket. Timeless, timeless. So we know what time is. Again, we've got a suffix. Less meaning without. Careless, without care. Timeless, without time. Well, what does that mean? It means that this ring, although it was made in 9 years ago, you could wear it for the next 200 years and it would still look good. It's not from a certain time. It's not going to go out of fashion. Okay, cool. Look at the Oh, our vowel sounds there. Cool. If someone's cool, they take their time. Yeah, no one's going to be rushing me if I'm cool. And also look at the way the words, look, they're like eyes, aren't they? Should we put some little eyes in there and then maybe we can turn them into, they look like nerdy glasses. They're meant to look like super cool sunglasses. Yeah, think of Keanu Reeves in The Matrix with his long leather jacket. Cool. If something's cool, then, you know, it looks pretty good. Chic, nice little French word, meaning kind of stylish. Think of Parisian fashion houses on the Champs-Élysées. Yep. Those people have style in spades. Yeah, they have so much style, the French. Yep. You never see a French person like looking bad with their clothes. Like, they dress well. So do the Italians, and maybe I'll give it to you as well, the Spanish. Sophisticated. Now, if we were thinking about sophisticated music, it would be really, really beautiful, beautifully crafted music. I'm thinking about like opera now, where it's an absolute work of genius. It's not just like kind of drum, one chord on the guitar. Sophisticated music has many different layers and appeals to one on a sort of emotional and kind of on different levels. So sophisticated style is elegant, but it's also well thought through. If it was talking about clothing, it'd be quite smart, quite formal. Fun. Bright. Yeah. Kind of jokey, playful, not very formal. Or if it's formal, having a spin on the formal. So wearing like a blue, red and white bow tie, for example, or some socks that are yellow whilst wearing, you know, a more somber suit. So it's something that makes us smile. Classic. Again, classic is quite similar to timeless. It's like a classic design that's it's going to last and last. So the art of being a gentleman, like, you know, the classic sort of shaving brush, the classic sort of barber jacket, the classic kind of old-fashioned umbrellas are all classics. Types of watches that are a classic as well. Stylish is kind of all of this. Yep. That it looks good, that it's, you know, if someone is looking stylish, then whatever they're wearing suits them, suits their complexion, their hair colour. In vogue, there's a British fashion magazine called Vogue. If something is in vogue, then it is in fashion. If you get into the Vogue magazine, this is the book of the magazine of fashion. Very in. I've spoken before about Gregory Porter's song, The In Crowd. The in crowd are the people who are going to all the sort of big events and openings and film premieres. If something is in, it's fashionable, it's of this moment. We've now covered quite a few different words to describe style and fashion and appearance and things that you have bought. So I'm hoping that the next time your loved one comes back with a bag of shopping, you might be able to say some things about what they've bought. Obviously, if it's a bag of onions and potatoes and bananas, you might not be sort of saying that it's like in vogue, but you might be saying, oh, great, what a bargain. Well done you. Really good piece of shopping, that. Wow, it's a deal. It's a steal. Wow, really impressed. And if they've come back with something that is of real quality, maybe they have bought a new cupboard. You might be impressed with how strong the materials are, how well made it is. Yeah. These are more sort of style clothing descriptions over here. but can be applied to furniture too. So a piece of furniture could be very chic. Maybe it's got those kind of pointy legs at the bottom, which are quite like Scandinavian and minimalist. Good. Well, okay. Well, maybe something you could do now is have a browse on the internet and try and find some things that you think apply to all of these words. So why don't you choose like 10 out of your favorite of these words and try and find an example for each one. And then from that, you could have a conversation with someone about what you've been seeing and discuss style and things, because English is all about practicing. So let's get practicing. Hope you're a subscriber of mine. Yeah, if you're not, do it now. And then I'll see you. Take care.